Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my monologues. It's freedom I want to talk about. Freedom, I think, is very much an attitude of mind. It takes a bit of time to get into that attitude of mind because since we've been born, we've been led to believe certain things. We've been told that we are a name. I don't know how we can possibly be a name because the name can be changed. You can change your name by deed poll. You can change your name by just deciding you want to be known as something else. And many people call you different names, such as nicknames. They might call you by your surname. They might call you by your first name, or indeed a Christian name. So you can't possibly be those things. We've been led to believe that we have to go to work 9 to 5 to a certain degree. We've got to earn a living, we've got to pay taxes, we've got to deal with HMRC, whatever it might be. Certainly in this country, we're told that the UK is a place, and we realise now that of course, it's just a political construct. It doesn't actually exist. The earth exists. We can put our hands into earth and we can see that it is. So I think that freedom has been, in many ways, curtailed in our lives because we're constantly looking for permission. We're constantly looking for an authority figure to say, yes, you can do that. Or we've been told, oh, you must do this and you must do that and you must do that. Of course, in order for a society of some description of people to work, we do need some form of, I suppose you might call it rules, or some form of laws to govern us. And the most natural law, I guess, is to do no harm, is to love thy neighbour and treat people with respect, of course. But we know that in this world there are wrong-uns out there. So it is an attitude of mind. But many people say to me, they say, well, how can you be free if you've got a bank account? How can you be free if you have to use your first name and surname with that bank account, or a passport? You can't just say, hello, my name's Richard or Baldy or Vobesy or whatever you want to be known as, because the authorities that will, and the utility companies and the council and the government will not accept all of that. And I suppose the answer really is that you have to be in the world, but not of it. And I think that's really the secret, because there are some things at this moment in time that we have to use. If you're being paid in fiat currency and it's being paid straight into your bank, and you can't convince your employer or your customers to give you cash so that you could be a little bit independent, even though cash, of course, is fiat currency and is made up and has no value in real life, except the faith that everybody has for it, then you have to have a bank account. And in order to have a bank account, you have to have this sort of legal fiction, which has been assigned to you, but isn't you. And so sometimes you have to be in the world, but it doesn't mean that you have to be of it. Most people are of that world, of that fake jurisdiction. They believe that they are the first name and surname that is being put down on the birth certificate. They believe that the UK is a real place. They think of themselves as living on a plot, on a map, with a postcode reference instead of in a real place. The old cottage by the oak tree down in the dale. That's a real place because you can actually describe where it is. A postcode is just a reference which is handy for postage. That's one thing. But is that where you actually live? It isn't, of course. It is just a plot on a map. So getting that attitude of mind, that freedom, takes time to think. When a letter comes to you and it's addressed to a legal fiction, is it really you they're talking to, or are they talking to their own invention? A legal representative, as somebody once said. He said it's a legal representative of you, but it can't be you. I'm not something that can be represented unless I want it to be represented. You know, you go to law, go to court, And if you're summoned there by, I don't know, let's say Tesco's, for the sake of argument, Mr. Tesco doesn't exist. He can't take you to court. Only a representative of Tesco's can take you to court. And only a representative of Tesco's then, or whomever the big corporation is, can take you to court. Whomever that is can only take your legal representative. Well, if you don't have a legal representative, i.e. the legal fiction, the dead entity, the name on the birth certificate, if you said, well, hold on a minute, that's not me, that person, that legal representative doesn't actually exist, then how can they get you in the courtroom? And this is where I think people get a bit in hot water, where they say, well, I'm a living man, I'm a living woman in here, and what have you, because the courts can't deal with that and they don't know what to do. Well, they do have various things. They send you down into the cells and make you wait until you decide to comply with the way that they want to conduct the court. I would personally advise not to go to court in the first place, because it's never going to come out in your favour, generally. But, you know, that's my humble opinion. It's certainly in civil matters. Of course, you may have no choice in criminal matters. You may have to go to court. And, of course, crime is a real thing. But civil offences and things like that, they're just political constructs. It's just really somebody else's opinion. Oh, you've driven in a bus lane. Oh dear, well, we better charge you some money. Why? Has anybody been hurt? No. The freedom is an attitude of mind, and it takes quite a lot, a leap of faith in many ways, to cross the Rubicon, to realise actually you are free from these things. These shackles are not actually locked. We impose those shackles on us because we go along with the stuff that they put onto us, the various, Julia's talking to, narrative, exactly, narrative. And we all believe it. We're being told it at school, and we continue to do it, and because it takes a lot of time. Now, a lot of these issues are talked about in my book, Biggleswick. Here it is. I've still got some of the books left. They've been going out quite well. Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply. I will have to keep plugging that from time to time just to remind people, because in the story, in the narrative in there, the characters, although it's fiction, they go through a series of revelations and truth bombs, and they start to realise that freedom that has been, or the shackles that have been imposed on them, that are self-imposed. They've believed them, and then start to realise that actually they can get out of those shackles because they're invisible. They're invisible shackles, and it's an attitude of mind. Anyway, if you're interested in that, send me an email, richard@vobes.com, and I'll tell you how you can get a purchase. At the moment, it is via PayPal or a bank transfer, and in time, there's been a bit of a mad rush, I will get round to sorting out other means of payments and things, but they are signed, hardback, very nice, and many people hopefully have got them. Be interesting to hear your views on it, whether you agree or disagree, or whether you enjoy the story, whether you're entertained or whatever. Now, before I go, I want to remind you about some lovely couple, Craig and Gillian, who very kindly sent some meat. Now, these are Welsh farmers. They are independent. They have that attitude of freedom. They want to be clear of supermarkets. And this is something that's very important, I think, in the new world, that we get away from the big corporation, the dominance of artificial foods that are not very healthy. And so, as you can see on the screen here, these guys, and I'll leave the link in the description, are producing their own beef, and you can order meat boxes from them, and it's good top quality organic food, which is fantastic. We've been eating it. They very kindly sent us some, but we just haven't had a chance. What we're buying of the land, and now getting the book out to actually make a video of us cooking it and showing you, but I can tell you it is delicious and it's lovely. So thank you very much, Craig and Gillian, for sending that through. Also, before I go, I want to just let you know we've been sent, you get sent all sorts of bits and pieces from here, and people, you know, often want to have affiliates with us on various things. A lot of YouTubers get this sort of stuff, and I try to avoid them if they don't fit comfortably with my own ethos and morals. So this is from a company called Indoka, and these are all to do really with hemp and the wonderful quality of hemp. Now, I did an interview with somebody about hemp in Ireland some while ago, and hemp is such a marvellous remedy for all sorts of ills and protects the body. So you've got things like face and body oil. You've got hemp CBD oil, whatever it's called. I never know. Unlocking the secrets of nature. This is all very healthy stuff. There's face creams, there's lip balms, soaps, and that sort of thing. I'll be talking a bit more about it and probably get Julia to assist me on this because she's far more knowledgeable about these sort of things than I am. But yes, Indoka, a very nice company. I've spoken to the owner of the company, a very lovely chap. And this stuff is often, what's the word I'm looking for? Is often, yeah, people kind of get confused about what it really is, and they get a bit worried about it. They think it's connected to sort of illegal stuff, but it's not. It's perfectly legal. It's very healthy. It's very good for the body. Like other substances, the mainstream media would rather you didn't know about the advantages of certain things. And hemp is something which Julia and I would like to try growing on our little Biggleswick farm, because you can do so many different things with it. And in years gone by, it was very, very good for people. But like so many things, the good things have been taken away. Now, a lot of people will know about hemp, of course, but they may not have known about this particular company. It's a small independent company, and that's what I like to help. So they're called Indoka. I'll leave the link in the description. From raw hemp oil to various facial creams, lip balms, soaps, and all of that. Anyway, thank you very much to Henry, who sent it in, and we'll show you how you can get hold of some for yourself and try it out. Anyway, thank you very much for getting in touch or watching even, and don't forget to the books are available. It's all a personal service, so it's not necessarily next day. Where I can do it next day and get the books out, I will. There'll be another posting day this week, but until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.